If you feel like salads never fill you up and they just don't sound that appetizing, watch this whole video and I'm going to share 3 tricks with you to make a salad into a really filling meal. Hey guys, it's Mona, and today's video is very specific. We are talking about salads, but I thought this would be a really good one to share and some good info to share because I know in the winter months especially, salads don't seem that appetizing, but there are really good ways to make them really filling. I've got one option that I'm going to show you that's really warm, and I wanted to share it because I think it's pretty common in the winter to kind of steer away from this stuff because you just want warmer food. So maybe like a big bowl of like warm pasta or rice might sound more appetizing, which is fine, but it is important to get all your veggies in, you know, especially when things like the flu are going around. I actually got the flu for like a day, which was crazy, right before New Year's Eve. It was awful. So I want to help any of you not get it. So let's go through some tips and I can share. I have 3 examples here of how you can make a salad more filling and make it more into like a full meal versus just like a side salad. I also just kind of have all my veggies prepped. This is one thing I really suggest doing in the beginning of the week is just pre-washing, pre-chopping all your veggies. The cool thing with this too is it gives you options. Like I have my bases over here. I've got my veggies over here. I even chopped cucumbers in 2 different ways because sometimes like literally how you chop it can make it taste different. Like small diced tomatoes versus like huge chunks of tomatoes will make a salad completely different. And you know, you might have a preference one way or the other. So you can even chop them up in different ways. And you've got your bases, then like every day you can be like, okay, I'm gonna do like a warm salad today, or I'm gonna do a lentil salad today, and whatever you want. So these are the basic, or these are the veggies. My 2 bases are lentils I've got here. I've got some quinoa here. And then actually these we're gonna use as a separate base too, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it right now. So also these lentils, I overboiled a little bit, so they're supposed to not look as much of like a solid piece, but yeah, I ran out. So this is all I have for the video. But normally with lentils, all you have to do is boil them for like 20 minutes or whatever it says in the package, and it's super easy. But here's the lettuce. Let's start out with the one with nuts and seeds first. Okay, so one recipe I made recently for a salad that came out so good, I was really excited to share in this video, and it was so simple and so filling. I think I made it at like 10 at night, and I was even sharing it on Instagram, and it's just so easy. I wanted to share the recipe. So basically, you've got your mix, your like regular greens mix, whatever you want. I would recommend even getting something like that has like maybe herbs in it. Sometimes you can get like a spicy greens mix. Adding in those extra herbs just give it so much more flavor and kind of make the salad a little more exotic. I'm obviously making a smaller bowl right now, but you could make this into a huge bowl or whatever if you want this to be like really your main meal. So one of the secret ingredients, which this is already washed, is adding fresh dill. So I feel like fresh dill isn't used that often because a lot of times we see things like this and I don't know if it maybe is intimidating or you don't really know what to do with it, but I've talked about fresh herbs in some of my other videos. I really recommend using them. Adding this even to a sandwich, to a salad, to anything adds so much flavor and it's so good for you. So it's win-win. It's great for your cholesterol. It's actually a good source of iron. It's a good source of calcium. So you're getting a lot of health benefits. And also years ago, and you know, especially in Eastern medicine, these herbs are literally used as medicine. So to us, we just think of them as like a dried seasoning that can maybe add a little bit of flavor, but literally they're used as medicine. And it's interesting because I think how you grow up and how you're used to things, you don't take other things as seriously. Like maybe you were like, how could food be as good as like an antibiotic? But there's different parts of the world that truly rely on this over what we use. So that's another reason why I like buying it fresh, because when you buy something in its natural form, you're going to get the most benefit out of it. The more you process this down and dry it and keep it on a shelf, the more you're going to lose the natural like amazingness and health benefits that it has. Obviously, it's not going to make it like, you know, less health. It's not going to make it worse for you in terms of calories or fat, and it's still going to give you flavor, but you're going to lose like the cool medicinal aspects of it. So if you can buy it fresh, I would recommend. So you add a little bit of dill. When it comes to veggies, you can really do whatever you want. I always like cucumber and tomato and everything. I think it makes everything yummier. Persian salads have a lot of cucumber tomato, so I definitely grew up eating it. I really like celery too. Chopping it actually sounds weird, but in this little shape like this, small, ends up making it taste less bitter. So if you think that celery is bitter and you want to give it another try chopping it really small, and also use the celery hearts in the middle. Like the lighter colored celery is not nearly as bitter as like the dark green one. That's a little trick too. So you can put a little celery, put some tomatoes and carrots. It's also kind of fun if like you have, you know, whether it's your roommates, your kids, your family, you guys can have your own little salad bars where everyone can make their own. So if you want something someone else doesn't have. Okay, then it's the nuts and seeds. So specifically walnuts, I love. So I'm a huge fan of like almonds, walnuts, pecans, hazelnuts, all different kinds, but walnuts specifically I like because they're the highest source of omegas. So if you're really gonna go for one kind, I would recommend walnut over the rest of them. You're gonna kind of get the most bang for your buck. If your omegas are low, like even if you go get a blood test, this is one thing I would recommend, like oleic acid. It's just, they're so good for you. Always get them raw. I would recommend soaking them in water. The texture is just so much nicer and softer and they get digested more. You don't have to do this, but if you want to, even for an hour, try it. It actually changes. One of my actually best friends, Erica, she's been on one of my videos. I mean, I've been friends with her for years and she had never tried like soaked walnuts and she was like, that seems weird. And she tried it and loved it. So you don't, even though it might sound weird, I would give it a shot. So literally just take some, these are obviously not soaked. These are just regular raw. Sometimes I even just like crumble them in my hand a little bit and sprinkle them on a salad. So we're gonna do that. And then I'm gonna add some seeds. I really like raw pumpkin seeds. I think they give salad like it's almost like a crouton, like adding in a little bit of crunch. The pumpkin seed I really like, again, a great source of healthy fat. So the good thing about adding these to a salad is that nuts and seeds have a really good amount of carbs and a good amount of fat, and they have protein. So it's not like you're just getting one. So adding them on really gives you like a complete like nutrient panel. It's gonna keep you really full. You know, the fat will give you energy. Healthy fats are the one thing that give you the quickest amount of energy. So even though carbs are for sustained energy, so, you know, runners will have like a really healthy big carb meal the night before, like a big marathon. Fats are gonna give you that like instant energy. So this is gonna give you energy, it's gonna keep you full, and it just really makes the whole meal a lot more filling. And just sprinkle some of these on. Just pour it right on actually. The cool thing about nuts and seeds is that a little bit goes a really long way. So this is a great meal if you are in a rush, if you're working and you don't have time to really eat. There's so many days when I'm like running around working that I'll like not forget to have a meal, but it's like 4 o'clock and I haven't eaten lunch and then I'm starving because I just don't have time to throw something together. And this is perfect because you can just keep these in the office, you can keep them in your purse, wherever, and just get a regular salad, and it just makes something so much more substantial. So you've got your nuts, the seeds, you've got the dill, and then for salad dressing, normally I like to mix salad dressing into like a little bowl. If I really want to make an amazing salad dressing, I'll even blend it. But when I made this the other day, I literally just poured it onto the salad and it was so good. So I wanted to share exactly how I did it because I think sometimes the simplicity of things too, when there's less work you have to do, you just pour a little bit of it on. So a little apple cider vinegar. Also, a little tip on vinegar or acids in general. Apple cider vinegar is adding a little bit of acidity. And if you have a hard time digesting, oftentimes you need more acid to help you break down your food. So having something like this could be really great. In fact, there's certain digestive enzymes. There's one that's called betaine. That's like the most popular one. And it's kind of the same idea. It's helping you form more acid in your stomach so that you can break down your food. So if that's an issue for you, I would even recommend throwing in some apple cider vinegar over cooked veggies, over whatever you're eating. And I'll also say, taking an apple cider vinegar shot I think is disgusting. I can't do it, but adding it on a salad, I like it. So if you don't like the taste of it normally, I would still give it a chance on a salad. So let's just have a little bite of this. Oh my God. The dill is everything. So good. Like this tastes like a salad you'd pay like $25 for, like a, you know, a nice little fancy restaurant. So that's our salad number one. Now let's get to number two. Okay, so the next salad is using lentils as a base. Lentils are just one of those foods that are such a superfood. They're so amazing for you. You know, when it comes to like the legume family, I know a lot of times like beans can make people a little bit gassy or like your stomach hurt. It can make you bloated. Of all of them, lentils are definitely the most calming. And also if they do bother your stomach, I would recommend red lentils. They tend to be digested a little bit better than like the dark brown lentils. They also have really, really great fiber. The form of fiber that they have is really nourishing on the bacteria in your gut. They have one of the best sources of plant-based iron. They've got some protein. It's all around just this like amazing superfood. These I ended up boiling a little more. So actually one interesting thing is if you do have gut issues, if you tend to bloat pretty easily like I do, the more you cook things and the more like softer, the more water you use, the easier they are to digest. Literally think of a baby. Baby food, obviously they don't have teeth, but even when they're younger, we give them things that are like really soft and really easy to digest. We're not going to give them like a hard piece of food. So the softer things are, the better it is on your stomach. So I did overcook these a little bit. They're a little softer, but normally this is lentils, like you just boil them. But you know, it's totally your preference. Some people like them a little bit crispier. One thing I like to do with lentils is really just do a lot of cucumber tomato. So this almost makes it a little more of like a Middle Eastern salad. And a lot of lemon juice. And I usually personally don't put vinegar on lentils. I kind of just like lemon or lime juice, salt and pepper, and cucumber tomato, and it's delicious. And it really makes it filling. And I think lentils in general, maybe like people consider eating more warm or like in a lentil soup, but having it in a salad is just so good. So let me get a lemon out and show you. Also, me personally, I don't like to put lettuce with lentils. You can, but I think just the style of salad personally that I think tastes the best is just with cucumber tomato. So I end up eating it with a spoon. So lots of lemon, a little sea salt. You can put olive oil, but you're gonna get a lot of the nutrients from the salad. This is also a really easy one too to fully pre-make. I think with lettuce, it's harder to prepare it because the lettuce might get a little bit soggy, but this is a great one you could make. I mean, you could fill this whole thing up with like lentil, cucumber, tomato, just scoop it out and be fully ready to go. And adding a little dill on there, oh, so good. I would add dill to all of these salads. It's gonna be the new spice that we all focus on. It's so, so good. Just sprinkle a little on. Help us stay healthy. And that's it. So good. Really, really good. You could even have this in the morning. I have before. Okay, now let's go on to salad number three. Salad number three is gonna be a warm salad, and I wanted to share this one specifically because warm salads I also feel like are a little bit underrated. They're one of my favorite things ever. They just give you kind of the best of both worlds. I don't know if you guys, wherever you live, have a Sweet Green near you. Sweet Green is this amazing salad bar that opened up, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. But they have really good veggies, but they also have warm grains. So you can get either a little bit of warm rice or warm quinoa. Then you've got like your fresh veggies on top, and something about it just is so good because it just makes it feel a little more like grounding. So I prepared my quinoa already. You can just cook this. I mean, this is the easiest thing to cook ever. It's just 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. You boil it until the water pretty much gets all absorbed and you're done. All I'm gonna do is take this, throw it on the stove. As soon as it starts to warm up, I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh spinach on the top and let it wilt just a little. And that also makes it so good. You just let it get a little soft, and then we'll add the cold veggies and our salad dressing. So just put a little on the stove. And quinoa is one of those things I always talk about. I love it. When it comes to grains, I know some people like to avoid grains. Depends on where you are in your diet. I don't eat a ton of grains, but the one that I like the most is quinoa because it gives you like a rice kind of vibe. So it makes you full like rice, but it's got so much more protein, so much more fiber. It's just packed with nutrients. So getting a grain that has protein, I think is pretty cool. And I mean, let's see, one serving of this has 6 grams of protein, you know, low in fat. So it's a really good one to have. And you can eat it cold or warm. I talk about my chocolatey quinoa breakfast all the time. I'll actually put the link to the recipe below this too, because that's an amazing recipe. If you just pre-cook quinoa and you just have that for breakfast in the morning, it's so good. It's like you're eating chocolate oatmeal. So let's let that heat up and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, this spinach is pre-washed. I've already washed it in here. So it's pretty warm now, and I'm literally just gonna add like a little handful and let it sit in there a few minutes longer. Also, guys, one thing you can do is add a little drop of water into the pot, like when you add your quinoa and your spinach in, and it just will make it wilt a little more, just a little touch. And you don't want your spinach fully cooked. I like keeping it, you know, like kind of in the middle, and you get more of the nutrients that way. But as you can see, it's just kind of like wilted in there. It's still, you know, in the middle stages. And then we'll just add, let's do the bigger cucumbers this time. Add those in there. Add some tomato. Okay. We're gonna add some dill. Gonna add dill to all of these. And then a little lemon. I probably would add a little bit of vinegar to this one too. Of course, like salad dressing is your choice. I would say for ones that have like quinoa or any kind of grain, to avoid like a creamier dressing, I think that a lighter dressing goes better because it might feel a little bit heavy. Unless you want to go for like a whole tahini like dressing vibe, that could be kind of cool. I'm always just like, no dairy, no dairy. Yum. Take a little bite. This might be my favorite one of all of them because there's something about the warm. It just makes you feel like you're eating like grandma's meal. It's cozier. And it's still a salad, so it's always like what you can call a salad, right? Technically veggies. Like I love when people get like buffalo chicken wings and like a little bit of iceberg lettuce and like blue cheese dressing, and it's a salad just because there's like a little lettuce, but this is actually a really healthy salad. So, excuse me. I hope you enjoyed these little tips. I highly recommend trying all of these. Honestly, the dill, game changer. All of these will make you much more full. They're just adding a little kick to your salad. And for me, 95% of the time, I'm never just having a salad with like lettuce. It's always like a bulkier salad. So it's always something a little more filling. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. If you guys have any of your own little salad tips, let me know. If you want to see more of what I eat in a day, definitely check out my Instagram in stories. I'm constantly sharing what I travel with, my snacks, like what I eat in a day. I do that once a week in my stories too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.